The Put Me in Coach podcast. Okay, welcome back. Christmas Eve week of football. Can't wait. It's right here. It's right upon us. My fantasy teams are still good. My predictions are still correct. It's only going to be true for a couple more days, and this is the fun part of this time of year. Although it does get to that point where you're ready to get going. So we talked about our AFC picks. That was really exciting. I think that you and I both kind of made a couple of splash picks. We made some bold predictions, and we took some guys that we truly just don't feel comfortable moving off of. I kind of want to do the same thing here with the NFC. I kind of just want to chop it up, give our takes on a couple of these teams, and kind of just dive into the predictions picks. For me, we started last week with what I considered to be kind of a softball, kind of a free throw, kind of a layup with Buffalo in the AFC. I kind of want to do the same thing here and go to the NFC South because I think you and I are both really rock solid on Tampa Bay and maybe a quiet contender this year. What say you?
It's not so much a Tampa. I mean, I think Tampa Bay's loaded. Don't even take that as disrespect. You know me. I've been a Baker Mayfield truther since the Oklahoma days, and I had never steered away. I never steered away with Cleveland. I never steered away with Carolina. I never steered away with Los Angeles, and I'm damn sure I'm not steering away now. Baker's my boy. And, you bring in Mbuka, you bring in, you still got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin passed his physical, Tristan Wirf passed his physical. Like, it's a good time, Defense, you still have some dogs on that defense. Vita Vea, these Antoine Winfield Jr. This team has stars riddled all throughout it. I really, really, really enjoy this team. But it's not even so much of them being the best team in my eyes as it is just kind of looking around the division and seeing the issues amongst the other teams, right? Because I think a couple of months ago, you and I both kind of toyed with the idea of Atlanta, right? Feels like all the things are coming together, but then now you have, the offensive line is absolutely in shambles. You let Drew Dahlman walk, he goes to Chicago. Now your left tackle, it appears he's done for the season. When you're predicating an entire game on your run game, and kind of trying to run through Bijan Robinson, that's not going to work so well when you have the O-line injured. Michael Penix obviously in college had a lot of injury issues coming off the blind side. Who's starting this year? You know what I mean? So there is these looming issues with the offensive line that really do worry me, and I think it will kind of ultimately be their demise. I like Carolina. You know me, I've always liked Carolina. I don't love Carolina by any means. I think their defense is far away from being truly competitive. Getting Derek Brown back will be awesome. I'm a big JC Horn truther, but JC Horn is not really proven to be able to stay healthy yet. And I like Tet McMillan. I never loved him as a prospect. I like Xavier Legette. He didn't show me enough last year to feel super comfortable about him.
Well, they can't rush the passer either.
That's kind of my thing. They don't have any pass rush, and I think their O-line's good. I think Bryce is good. I think the offense could be better than we're expecting. I think Chuba Hubbard is one of the most underrated players in the entire NFL. That said, they just feel like a 8-win, 9-win third place team. If you got the Bucks at 11 wins, which is what I would have them at, I'd probably have Atlanta at 9, maybe Carolina at 8, and then I have the Saints at 4. I think they're gonna stink, and I think 4 might be generous. Yeah, I think 4 might be generous. Spencer Rattler stinks. That defense is so old and it's so withered at this point. Free Demario Davis, free Chris Olave, free Alvin Kamara, which it does feel like the year that all three of those guys might bounce. Demario Davis, go ahead and just go to Philly now. You're going to break my heart and do it, but just do it. Olave, obviously the concussion issue is a thing, but man, he's such a good receiver when he's healthy, and Kamara is still he's kind of like Henry in that way of just father time, just still is not catching. He's so explosive. And it's a shame because I think their O-line's really good. When you're starting the year with Spencer Rattler, I mean, what's your ceiling for real? What really is the ceiling? It's 6 wins, like absolute ceiling.
I've got him at 3.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's what I'm saying. I think your absolute ceiling is 6 wins when you're rolling in Spencer Rattler.
No, I'm with you. It's unfortunate because there was a time where this organization was so first rate and this team was so competitive every year.
Oh, Mickey Loomis was the best, and Sean Payton was the best, and Drew Brees was the best, and it's kind of foul seeing what they've done, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Mickey Loomis's inability to accept what is and what was after Sean left, Breeze left. It was the writing was so clearly on the wall.
And it's so frustrating that they didn't capitalize on that little run there between 17 and 2020 probably. The where they had Breeze and they had Kamara and that legendary draft class where they got Trey Hendrickson, Marshawn Lattimore, and Alex Anzalone, and it sucks that they didn't. Cam Jordan was in his prime still. Obviously Demario Davis was there.
Well, Michael Thomas was the premier receiver in the league.
Yes, 100%, dude. I mean, they were like 6 levels of hell. That team. They had a run game. They had an O-line. They had a quarterback. They had wide receivers. They had pass rush. They had linebackers galore. They had the best linebacking trio I think I've ever seen, and then they had elite DBs. It's so foul they didn't make a Super Bowl even once, and they were right on the doorstep. Right, obviously the Rams call and everything that everybody bitches about, but nobody talks about the Drew Brees interception when overtime started.
Yeah. Well, and they gave Tom Brady and those Bucs teams
Tom Brady fits. Yep.
Yeah, and
Tom beat him when it mattered most.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, I think all of us felt like that was a coin flip game, if not favored.
I thought
in New Orleans.
They kind of had their number all year, but that's just the Tom Brady difference.
Yeah, that sucks, man. They're really one of those teams that got so close and was so good for so many years.
They should have won in 2018 and in 2020. Frankly, they should have won.
Okay, let's take it to a division with a team that actually did finish. NFC East, Philadelphia Eagles, Dirty Birds. I know that the stat about this division with no back-to-back winners in all these years and stuff is super interesting for people. I totally understand that. I'm shoving that in a ball and throwing it right in the trash. I think the Eagles are leaps and bounds above the rest. I think they're still probably, until proven otherwise, the best team in the NFC. I think there will be some teams that have some things to say about that this year, but for my money, I got to see it because I thought down the stretch, Philadelphia looked unbeatable, and they proved it in the playoffs. They proved it in the Super Bowl. We shall see kind of what ends up happening. I think they lost people are talking about the defensive pieces they lost. I think it's kind of like Super Bowl contract residual stuff that's going on, like Sweat. To me, that just feels like such a team that the Arizona Cardinals would go and sign out of desperation. He's a good player. They didn't lose Jalen Carter. Let's be so honest here. They drafted a number 1 corner last year. He proved to be a number 1 corner. To me, there are no holes on this team. That's how I feel, and some people might have different views here. Obviously, we're starting over with yet another offensive coordinator. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I know you guys don't view him as a top 10 quarterback. A lot of you, I view him as a top 5 quarterback. I think that A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are more than enough. If Saquon Barkley misses some time, if anything happens in the run game, I think they'll pivot to the pass and they'll be just fine. So I like Philadelphia soundly. I think the Washington Commanders are a team that got hot at the right time last year. I don't think that they're as good as people believe they are. And that's not a knock on them. I just think that they had an elite ending to the season with kind of getting into the playoffs, playing above their weight, and going in Detroit and punching that Lions team right in the mouth on the road. That was a thing of beauty. That being said, I think their offensive line still needs some work. Now, they did add some pieces. I think it'll be better. I still have some issues with the way Cliff Kingsbury's calling this offense. It's very... you know what I mean? It's just ticky-tacky. It's bubble screen, bubble screen, design quarterback run, bubble screen, deep shot. And it feels like that's something that could be an issue this year. I was a full believer in Jaden Daniels. He was my quarterback 1 coming out of the draft. That's on record. I'm not making it up. So he delivered for me. And I think because of that, I think this is a 10-win team bare minimum. I just don't. I think a lot of people want them to kind of jump the Eagles, and I'm just not willing to go there. I think their roster still needs some time to develop. I think Adam Peters is a great GM. John Lynch should be fired in San Francisco because I think once they lost Adam Peters, people are going to start realizing how truly awful of a drafter John Lynch really is. So I trust you. I trust new ownership who's spending money. I trust Dan Quinn as a culture builder and as a defensive guy. I just don't think their roster is on the level of Philadelphia, and I feel comfortable saying that. In terms of New York and Dallas, I think they're 2 sides of the same coin. I think in Dallas, the argument for being in 3rd place is very clear. I think Dak Prescott, when healthy, is a way better quarterback than most of you guys think he is. And I think George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are going to be a matchup nightmare for defensive backs. If you double CD, you're getting torched by Pickens. If you double Pickens, you're getting torched by CD. I think their games complement each other beautifully. I think the O-line is improving. It's not where it needs to be. Ultimately, for me, it comes down to defense. They were the worst team in football without Micah Parsons in terms of EPA per play defensively. in the 6 games the last couple of years that Micah's missed. With Micah on the field, they're top 5. So that's it. Like, it's that simple. Losing Micah Parsons makes this defense back what it was. I think they're going to have a very Cincinnati Bengals season from last year, where we're going to see Dak look good. We're going to see some fireworks, and we're going to kind of go, why are they not in the playoffs? And this defense is going to let up 30 points a game. In New York, I have the opposite problem. I think that defensively, we talked about it in our Giants video. This is the best defensive front in the NFL. I think you drafted a generational level pass rusher in Abdul Carter. I think Dexter Lawrence is the best interior defensive lineman in the league. And I think Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau are also absolutely no slouches themselves. That being said, they're an Andrew Thomas injury away, who's already banged up in camp, away from being completely awful on the offensive line. And outside of Malik Neighbors, I'm not the biggest believer in Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt and some of these pass catchers. So I just have some questions offensively, but I think both Dallas and New York are actually going to be like okay teams, kind of jockeying for that 3rd place spot, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm actually not fully punting either of those two teams. And I know it sounds like I am. I just think Dallas doesn't have the defense to really push.
7 to 9 wins.
7 to 9 wins for both teams for the opposite reason. So that's where I have it. I have the Commanders in the playoffs, and I have the Eagles in the playoffs. And the other two, I think, miss it, but I think are still going to win some games. Like, I don't be surprised if New York exceeds your expectations, and don't be surprised if while you're pouring dirt on Dak Prescott, he throws for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns against your favorite team, and the Cowboys beat you. It's going to happen. So that's my 2 cents on the NFC North. I'm sorry, the NFC East. Should we just do the hardest one? I think, or maybe, in my opinion, the hardest one, kind of the true wild west of wild wests divisionally.
Yeah, I'll do it because I have a bold take that I think I'm ready to die on this hill. So I think if you asked me 2 months ago, the Rams are running away with this division, in my opinion, right? I think it's the swan song. I think it's Stafford and McVay, kind of their final run. You're bringing in Devontae Adams, which feels like a very much all-in move for the time being. You know, you have Puka Nacua, obviously. You just paid Kyron. You got on the defensive end. You have Jared Verse and Fisk on rookie deals. You have Kobe Turner. You know, the secondary is questionable, but the D line is very good. So the secondary doesn't have to be so good. And it just felt like a team that was gearing up to kind of make that final run. You know, were they going to make it? Not sure, but it felt that way. I really liked that, how the vibes that were going on over there in Los Angeles. Then they started reporting about Stafford's back, and it wasn't an issue. It was a day-to-day thing. He was going to miss a couple of practices, no big deal. Then he's missing weeks. Then he's missing a month. Now he's taking injections to potentially play week 1. He should play week 1, right? They're playing the Texans. I don't know if you've talked about that pass rush or if you guys have seen that pass rush. It's very good. Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson coming off the edges. One hit and Stafford could be done. And I just don't like the vibe of that going into the season with the back injury already lingering. These back injuries don't get better, right? Not for a 38-year-old, not for a quarterback who's 1,000,000% going to get hit. And the tackle situation isn't great there either. So I think I'm out. And when I say out, I think they're just going to come in second. But in my first place spot, I'm willing to plant the flag. I'm going Seattle. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. I think they have the best defense in the division, bar none. I think they have an amazing defensive coach. I like bringing in Clint Kubiak. I like that Clint Kubiak and Sam Darnold have a repertoire when they were together in San Francisco, correct? They were both there at the same time, I believe. I think you fixed this offensive line. That was the big issue. They looked amazing in the preseason. I think Gray Zabel is a difference maker on that offensive line. I think you have 2 healthy running backs who are both, you know, B to B plus running backs. I don't think either one of them are amazing, but I think they can get the job done. I love JSN this year. I think JSN is going to really be in that kind of, I think he's going to take that step this year where we see him be what he's kind of expected to be. And then I'm back in on Cooper Kupp, man. I think Cooper Kupp was really good last year and he just was injured. Like when he played, he was good. So if Cooper Kupp can stay healthy and JSN can take that step that we need, and we all know what this defense is about. That defense is no joke. You got Devin Witherspoon, you got Leonard Williams. I mean, these guys are stars, and they have one of the best defensive minds head coaching them that, we've seen in years, right? I mean, we talked about it last year in our video for the Seahawks, which was that we're two Michigan guys, and we know what McDonald's all about. He runs a very unconventional defense, and it's nightmare fuel for other quarterbacks and other offenses. And this team went 10-7 last year. I mean, they were right there. They barely missed the playoffs. You're telling me that bringing in Sam Darnold, a little more of a gunslinger, somebody who already has a repertoire with the offensive coordinator, is going to be worse than Geno Smith? I don't see that. I think Sam Darnold was awesome last year. He won 14 games and was an MVP candidate. Was that Kevin O'Connell, or is Sam Darnold just living up to the hype of the number 3 pick? Because I don't know. You still have to go out there and throw the ball. And it was a perfect situation last year for Darnold in Minnesota, and I think it's a just as good situation here. Everybody just doesn't want it. It's just not as sexy, right? JSN isn't Justin Jefferson, and Cooper Kupp's not Jordan Addison. But I mean, shit, those two are not super far apart. And if JSN can take that step, the sky's the limit. I like this team. I think this team's gonna be really good this year. Then I look over at San Francisco. They're already injured. Their defense is like entirely on IR or out or not practicing. Who are your wide receivers? I don't know. I don't really care to know. I'm out on them. I think it all falls apart this year for. I think it's going to be the Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy show, and they're going to put up gaudy numbers, and they're going to lose a lot of games. I actually think the Cardinals will be better than them. Cardinals. I still think their ceiling is probably just the playoffs. If Stafford does get hurt, they might be able to leap the Rams. If you have to see Jimmy Garoppolo all year, I could see them in second, but I kind of have them as a third place team, to be honest. I'm just not in love with them. I'm in like with them. Like, if I squint my eyes, hypothetically, they're like a fun team, James Conner, Marvin Harrison, Paris Johnson. Like, I like the pieces there, but I just don't love them. Really, I think I just don't love their quarterback. So I think I'm ready to plant the flag. I think I'm going. I'm not even thinking. I know I'm going. Seattle Seahawks, division winners 2025.
Yeah, that's super exciting, man. I mean, I'm not going to hold you. You get no pushback from me. I think the beauty and also the difficulty of the NFC West this year is that all 4 teams feel like they have the same range of outcomes right now. It just feels like all 4 of them could be the playoff team. They could be a division winner. All 4 of them could miss.
Well, and I think it's important to note that the Rams won the division last year with a 10-7 record. They just had the tiebreaker against Seattle. I mean, Seattle very much could have won it too.
I want to close us out with the teams up north, because I do think they are kind of the most discussed, kind of intriguing division, at least from my perception this offseason. And I'm not saying that just because you and I are fans of the Lions. I genuinely seem to kind of draw the most conversation divisionally. The AFC West is up there too, but I think the NFC North is kind of the most hyped division. Look, man, I'm going to be honest. I feel really comfortable taking the Detroit Lions with the schedule, with the losses of the coordinators, with everything in mind, with everything included. Bake it in. I think it's comfortably Detroit, and I think it's comfortably Detroit because I just don't know on every level what I'm getting from the rest of these 3 teams. Let's start with Chicago. I think Chicago is going to be noticeably better than they were last season. However, we have only seen 1 year of Caleb at quarterback, and I talked about this on Bears. I got a lot of hate from people for it. It was a bad year. He was at the bottom of really, really, really important metrics last season. He was not a good quarterback last year. So we don't know what that's going to be. I'm not in love with the personnel on defense. I know everyone loves the Dennis Allen hire because once upon a time, Dennis Allen was a great defensive coach. He's coming off of a failed head coaching stint in New Orleans. I think this team needs a year, but I do think you are going to see a massive jump, and I think they're going to go from 5 wins to 8 or potentially 9 wins. I think it's going to be a decent football team that you see the difference with Ben Johnson. I'm just not there yet on beating these other teams. Minnesota, we talked on the Vikings about how good this team is. They'd probably be my other pick, honestly. If I had to go away from the Lions, they'd probably be them. I think we've seen enough from Brian Flores as a defensive coach. I think we've seen enough from Kevin O'Connell as an offensive mind in this league. They invested in the offensive line this offseason. They got better by all metrics. We saw how good Andrew Van Ginkel was last year. We saw how good Jonathan Grenard was. And we haven't really even seen the first round edge rusher they drafted last year, Dallas Turner. We don't even know what Dallas Turner is yet. And he was one of the most hyped prospects coming into the draft last year. I think this defense is, and they have Byron Murphy, who was a Pro Bowl corner. Harrison Smith is still there. Like, this defense is so deep. It's so loaded. And offensively, Jefferson, Addison, even with a suspension, Hawkinson. I love getting a second running back. So you allow Aaron Jones to be Aaron Jones, right? Aaron Jones can do the pass catching stuff. He can do the in-space stuff, kind of the zone, outside zone stuff. Jordan Mason can take 10 to 15 carries a week so Aaron Jones can stay healthy. It's a really, really good team. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy is yet. I hope that J.J. McCarthy's good. I believe he's going to be. We'll see how many games it takes for us to really, truly believe that he is the future of this team. I don't buy them to win the division. And Green Bay. Green Bay is the darling of the moment. And I saved them for last on purpose because when we did our Green Bay video, we didn't have a chance to discuss the Micah Parsons trade because it hadn't happened yet. I think it matters. I think it's a massive needle mover for Green Bay. I think that anytime you get a player of that caliber at a position of that importance on a defense that I didn't really believe in prior, it matters. It allows Rashawn Gary to go be a really good 2, which I think he is. I don't think he's a great 1, but I think he's a really high-end 2 as a pass rusher. It gives your cornerbacks some break because you don't have any corners. Let's be honest. Your corners are a huge question mark. But when you have a legitimate pass rush, you can take a load off of the corners. It allows Xavier McKinney to go back and do what he does well, which is ball hawking plays, right? They're going to disrupt a lot of quarterbacks. I just don't personally believe in this offense. And I stand by that. I'm willing to adjust my take about Green Bay, not being a contender. I think they are absolutely a division contender. I think they're a playoff contender. I think your O-line's good. I don't think it's remarkable. And Jaden Reed, he's got a broken foot. Jaden Reed has a Jones fracture. So now your receiver room is down a guy in a room that I already didn't believe in. Matthew Golden is a player that I think is going to be really good as a rookie, but that's a lot to ask. And Jordan Love has consistently been inconsistent. He's got talent. He's definitely a good player. You've got your franchise quarterback. The accuracy has not been there week to week. It just hasn't. And they have metrics for this. If you don't believe me, go talk to smart people who do PFF stats and those nerds. They will tell you that he is consistently inaccurate. So, look, I like Green Bay. I don't love Green Bay. And that leaves me with the team that everybody's kind of over, which is the Detroit Lions. And I just think they're top to bottom the best team in the division. And I understand they lost both coordinators, but they didn't lose Dan Campbell. And nothing's really changed for me until I see another one of these teams be consistently better than Detroit. It's Detroit. Argue with the wall, and I will be proven right again. I guarantee it. And we'll be coming back here having the same conversation end of season, which was, wow, Chicago looked really improved. Wow, J.J. McCarthy really worked in Minnesota. That team's so good. We forgot about them. The media forgot about them. Wow, Micah Parsons made a difference in Green Bay. They looked really good this year, and it won't matter because the team winning the division again will be Detroit. They just got to get it done in the playoffs. That's all that's left, and that's where I stand on it. And I hope I didn't take up too much time with that, but that's my take about this division, man. I'm still in on the Lions. I think they're the team.
And on the way up, we're gonna bite a kneecap off.
Biting kneecaps, baby.
It's exciting stuff, man. I think that's going to be it for us. The next time that we get on here, guys, like, comment, subscribe if you're into it. Get after us in the comments if you hate our picks. But, man, the next time that we're going to be on here, we're going to be talking about actual games that have been played.
It's here, baby. Football has arrived. This
is the last moment in this offseason that our show will be a hypothetical channel. This gets real. So we're going to see how these picks age, man. Can't wait to lose in my fantasy leagues, and I can't wait to be wrong about these picks. All right.
Iconic
Let's
stuff.
do it. Yes, man. I'll see you on the next one. And thanks for everybody for tuning in.